said, guys, we didn't come here for no reason.
Hey, my brother, put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we gonna do it then, we do it big. Let's go, baby.
Here's the snap, handoff on the belly dive, and Stevenson's gonna try to root his way in. He breaks through. He's got the 10, 5, 3, 2 yards, touchdown FSU. This Ronnie Stevenson, senior, playing his final game. I thought he was tackled to the line of scrimmage, root hogging his way, and he broke into daylight, and he scores a touchdown.
If we don't get penalties and we don't get fumbles and we don't get interceptions, we can win the dead-gum ball game.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. I said, we strong then.
What are you doing?
Down to the 50, down the sideline to the 40, down to the 30. He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State.
Let's party, Tallahassee.
He's got PK Sam. Open. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Marshall. Touchdown, PK Sam. 55 seconds left. Sam takes a touchdown catch from Richards. 52 yards. 52 yards. Florida State leads 37-34. I see you, PK Sam.
Jump shots there. Good shot. Knowles win. Knowles win. Michael Stairs triple with no time left. Florida State beats Duke 70.
Welcome to Double Fries, No Slaw. We are back for another episode, a Victory Sunday here on Double Fries, No Slaw. Myself, TJ Pittenger, Richie Barnes, the 2013 national champion, Freddie Stevenson. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing, Richie, man? I'm feeling good.
Hey, man, Freddie, you and I both, man. Our Knowles got the win. The Bucks scared us a little bit, just like the Knowles did, but they got the win too. It's a perfect football weekend. It doesn't happen often for people like me, so I'm happy. Happy to be here with you guys, and we got a really good guest today lined up, so I'm excited.
We do. Heading into Notre Dame week, coming off the victory. We will certainly talk that game as the week goes on. But before we get started, I want to remind you that Double Fries No Slaw is brought to you by Guthrie's in Tallahassee. Visit both of their locations, one on 1818 West Tennessee, the other on 2525 North Monroe. Make sure you get your gut box with Double Fries No Slaw. Tell them we sent you. We got sent a picture over the weekend. My guy Patrick was in Tallahassee and sent us a picture of the Double Fries No Slaw sticker on the window there. So that was pretty cool, guys. I don't know that I expected that when we started this, but I knew the Noles were going to win when I saw that. I knew it was a good omen for the weekend.
Yeah, man, it was cool to see that picture, just to see the logo of our podcast right on the drive-through window of Guthrie's. It was awesome. And, they've been a great partner for us for these first, 2.5 months since we've been doing this. So I'm really excited and happy. And it was, again, like you said, it was just cool to see.
When I saw that, I didn't really know what I was going to eat before the game. I was thinking wings, and then I saw that. I was like, man, let me go get some chicken strips with some fries, man. And I ended up going to Cane's, man. Told them Double Fries, No Slaw. Of course, it ain't like Guthrie's, but it's close enough.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like I told you guys, I think on Thursday, I've been eating way too much fried chicken since we started this thing. We got to change our name to like some kind of salad thing so I can get back right again. But
grilled chicken Caesar salad.
Right. Yeah. Something. So, well, Richie mentioned it. We will talk about the game over the weekend in a little bit, but we want to get to a guest. Right now, we have former FSU wide receiver 1-0 against Notre Dame. Travis Rudolph on the line. How's it going today, Travis?
It's going great. How's it going?
Good, man. We appreciate you for hanging out, coming on the show kind of last minute to talk with us. We were talking in our little group chat about guys that had big games against Notre Dame. So we went back to like the 03 games, the different games that have happened. Obviously, we didn't even bring up the last one 2 years ago, but your kind of coming out party was that Notre Dame game. I the most vivid memory I have is you high step into the end zone to start the game. Richie was just saying he's glad that they didn't call the 15-yard penalty and take the points away on that. But man,
did Jimbo say something about that, Travis, about the high step? Because man, that beautiful touchdown play, but that high step, man, it worried me a little bit.
No, he actually didn't. I mean, he actually congratulated me on making a play, really.
Nice. Hey, I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's one play that stuck with me since I was at Florida State. Like the way you swagged into the end zone in that play, I was like, all right, we might be all right this game. We ain't really know what to expect because that Notre Dame defensive line teams don't really know like that was that deal. But Travis, he kind of had us right at that moment going in with that swag. Like, all right, we good.
Yeah, definitely. Just to pick up off that, man, their D-line was crazy that year. I remember like it was yesterday. Their whole D-line was like, it looked like they all stood like 6'8" or taller.
You look back at the numbers, man, we was killing everybody with the run game that year. Looking back at the numbers, I think we barely cracked, 50 yards rushing. We had to lean on the passing game heavy. You know, we had Dalvin and Carlos that year doing their thing. But Notre Dame, that defensive line, they was the real deal.
Definitely. And surprisingly, our passing game was, the reason why we won that game because, like you said, they stopped our running game. And the running game was a big part of our offense.
I think that second half, we kind of talked about this. We were down 10-17 at halftime. Offense was getting stopped a lot in that first half. I think that second half that Jameis threw was maybe his best second half, like against a quality opponent. I mean, he was just perfect that half. He opened up the half with a touchdown to Rashad, drove us down several times, and then Carlos finished off a couple of drives. But yeah, talk about a back and forth game. What I want to ask is I was sitting in the opposite end zone from where Notre Dame was going down at the very end of the game, and we couldn't see the penalty. Like it was just so loud, and we couldn't see the offensive pass interference they ended up calling. What was the emotion like on the sideline? I mean, I guess this is for both of y'all because y'all were both on the sideline, I assume, on that defensive play. What was the emotion like seeing them score? And then could you, like, my vantage point in the stands, I couldn't tell it was a penalty. Like, I thought that they were just kicking the extra point from like 15 yards back because they all ran onto the field. Did you guys see that pretty quickly, or were you just kind of like, oh, crap, we just lost this game? Like, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, from the sideline, you really couldn't see it. So, I mean, we seen that it was a touchdown, so I'm like, oh, man, I can't believe they just came and scored last few seconds of the game. And then, like, it was just a lot of adrenaline running because I feel like we still had a few seconds left on the clock. So I was like, man, the game not over, so we got to do it. We got to go score. I don't care what it take. We got to win this game. Like, so when we seen the penalty, I was like, oh, man. I was like a breath of fresh air because I'm like, okay, I know our defense is going to get this stop now that they have to push them back.
Yeah, it was kind of ironic because the whole season you've seen us, we giving up these big leads in the first half, and then we found a way to win these games. And then in this moment against Notre Dame, it's like, dang, it's finally going to backfire on us. And then you get that flag, and then we have opportunity to go on and win. So it's like, all right, we don't find a way to pull this one out again. So it was like a sigh of relief after that moment.
So Travis and Freddie, I guess it'll be for both of you. But at the end of the first half, Notre Dame scored on a touchdown on pretty much the identical play. They ran that illegal pick. They didn't call it. And then I saw Jimbo, I was at the game as well, and Jimbo just goes to the ref and just chews his ass out, man. Like, that's illegal, etc. If he doesn't do that, I don't know if they call that pick play on the last play of the game there. Did you guys see Jimbo, like, go to the refs after that play? And what were your thoughts when that happened?
I didn't see him go to the ref, but I'm glad he did, because one thing about Jimbo, he knows his football. He definitely knows his football. So, like,
He does.
hats off to Jimbo to even, acknowledge that with the refs, because a lot of times refs they don't catch everything on the field, and that's just one of those things that Jimbo knows, like, that's an illegal screen, basically. So
Yeah, I remember when he when it happened at the beginning of the first half, we saw it pop up, and then Jimbo was hot. He ain't like it, and he let him know about it. And it's crazy that they ran that same exact play. I'm glad they have another play in their playbook. I'm glad they ran that same exact one, because I know the way Jimbo went off on them in that first half, it was on their mind the rest of the game. So we fortunate enough that he caught it early.
Brian Kelly must have not caught it either, Travis, because if he'd have seen Jimbo going off about it, maybe he didn't call that. So what do you remember about like, so obviously Florida State was riding pretty high at that point. I want to say that Notre Dame game was something like the 21st or 22nd win in a row. Somebody can fact check me on that. I know that the Miami game a few weeks later was the 26th. And so I want to say that was like 3 to 4 weeks earlier. Just kind of remembering back. So Florida State was riding high, but had just a massive opponent coming in. Was that 2 versus 5? Were we number 2 and they were 5 coming in? So a top 5 matchup in Doak. What do you? But I mean, again, this is kind of for both of you. We get the kind of the pleasure of interviewing another legend on here every week. But what do you remember about the build up to that week? And how hard is it to focus on the game being just another game? Because you're getting up for that top 5 matchup, that 8:00 game in Doak Campbell, that college game day experience, more than you are for Syracuse coming 2 weeks later. Although Travis absolutely torched Syracuse the next year. Maybe that's not the best example. But like, how hard is it to like stay focused when that game is just so much bigger than like every other game that you're playing in that year?
Really, it's just just locking in. It's just another game, really. No one wants to lose. So like Jimbo, he preps us all week to just control what we can control. So that whole week, like, we knew it was like gonna be like college game day game and everything. So we was just taking it just like another week. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew we can't count none of our opponents out, but we knew that this was gonna be like one of our toughest matchups that we experienced the whole season. So just going into it was just another game. That's how I looked at it. It's just another game, and just take it play by play. Control what you can control.
Without a doubt, when you come to Florida State, no matter where you come from, how much success you used to in high school, it's a different level. In Florida State, early on, you learn like this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna play in primetime games. In my freshman year, I had an experience with that, and I got the pregame jitters out early. We played Pittsburgh first game of the year, and I was nervous. I was like, man, I don't know how this is gonna be. We playing the 8:00 game. Everybody gonna watch it, and as soon as I got out there, I was like, man, it's just football. That's all it really is. At the end of the day, after all the build-up, it's just football. And we got a lot of great players, and we Florida State, and that's how we thought. Like, we had a lot of dogs on our team, and that's really like the team we have now. I think they should look back at the way we carried ourselves back then. Like, the players, like, we were all dogs, and we knew that if we handled our business, everything else would take care of itself. We didn't really worry about the outside noise.
Freddie, I just kind of pulled up the box score here, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself, because as a fullback, you do some things that don't show up in the box score, right?
I see you looked at it earlier, man.
I see you got one carry, no yards, but you did get on the stat sheet. But you guys said this, the running game wasn't taken off like it was. Were you tell me you were on the field for both of Carlos's touchdowns. Were you leading the way, at least on one?
The last one, I remember that one vividly. He was right behind me. Dude blitzed. The linebacker came down and blitzed through the A gap, and he tried to shoot me low, and I ended up catching him with my shoulder, and Los jumped right over my block into the end zone. But and then to go back on your play, we were running a stretch play, and then that D-line, man, I'm thinking, I see a hole. I'm like, all right, I don't get the ball that much, but hey, I'm going to hit that trap in the end zone right now. Next thing I know, man, I'm in the backfield looking crazy. I look like and I saw who got beat, but I was like, it is what it is. That D-line was real.
Yeah, both of Carlos's touchdowns were up near the goal line, but yeah, I figure with the game winner being a 1-yard touchdown that it was you that really deserved the credit for leading the way on that.
On that first touchdown to Carlos's, I really should have got called for a holding. If you go back and look at the play, I knocked the dude out the hole, and then Los, he bounced it, and I didn't expect him to bounce it. I thought he was gonna come inside of me. And then I tried to hold the dude back, but in the goal line, you don't see any of those things. So I was fortunate enough that the refs didn't catch it.
So, yeah. Freddie, are you telling me that chop block against Clemson was karma for a hold against Notre Dame?
Shoot, it might be.
That's funny that you say that. I was just thinking about that.
Travis, do you keep pretty close attention to what's going on at Florida State now, or are you not as in tune with it, just kind of off doing other things? Or you still kind of watch every weekend, or no?
I watch every weekend, but I understand about the whole process of rebuilding. For the last 3 years, we had 3 different coaches, so I understand that whole process of everything. So, I mean, I feel like our team's going to get everything together. Right now, it's just gaining chemistry and all that.
Yeah. And so I don't know how much you know about Coach Norvell or not, but do you think he is things didn't work out under Willie Taggart? Do you think Norvell is the kind of the right guy to turn it around from what you've seen so far, or what you kind of maybe know about him?
I don't really too much know about Coach Norvell, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't get the job for no reason. You know what I'm saying? He has to have a strong resume to be coaching at Florida State. Florida State is a dominant program, so I mean, I trust whoever they put at the head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from one Travis to another, Travis Rudolph, did you get a chance to see yesterday and see Jordan Travis come out and how he kind of really ignited that offense? And I think they scored 5 straight touchdowns. They had 6 touchdowns, all drives over 65 yards. It was nice and refreshing to see as a beaten down Florida State fan.
Right. I mean, I've been watching Jordan Travis for a while. I like his game. He plays very, very hard. He's physical. And he has knowledge for the game. And, you can tell he's out there having fun. That's the main thing with everything. Just go out there and have fun. It's just football. You know what I'm saying? We've been playing football all our life. So.
And that was my thing. Like yesterday, a lot of fans were mad at me. They wanted us to beat them by 60, but we started off the first half a little rough, but that second half, just seeing those young guys play with effort and the Florida State way, like showing some pride, like it's cool. I can understand if we're in a rebuild and right now we lose some games that we would normally win. You can live with that, but when you don't see guys out there going all out, having a sense of pride and just letting people knock them off the ball, that's an issue. In the second half, when he ended the game, I felt like that completely changed and people started balling, like they took pride in it. And I felt as if they felt like they could win with him and they just changed the whole demeanor. We don't know if that'll continue over the course of the season, but just to see it in that little moment, a glimpse of what this team can be when they have a leader that they believe in, that brought some excitement to some guys. And what's your thoughts on that? Like, as far as the effort and the win this week, but what do you want to see out of this team going forward to kind of make you optimistic about the future?
Just want them to go out there and play hard and just, you know what I'm saying? Just like picking up off what you said. Effort, you can't coach effort. It's either you want it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they should just keep their head down, don't worry about their record, and just take every opponent as the same. You get what I'm saying? Because like they bleed like we bleed. You get what I'm saying? So anybody can beat on any given day. So if you go out there and play hard and execute, things will go well. That was the main thing Jimbo taught us about execution. You get what I'm saying? The lack of execution can get you behind the game. So I just want our players to just understand, take it one play at a time, control what you can control, and everything else will play its part.
Without a doubt. And I talked about that a little bit on Twitter this week. You go back at the teams we played on, even the games we were underdogs, we had a few crazy people on the team that even when everybody had us picked to lose, like, shoot, you need a few crazy people like, man, we going to win. Like, we
exactly.
21-point underdogs, like, shoot, we going to find a way to win. That was just our mindset.
And I don't even think it's about being crazy. It's all about, you get what I'm saying? Like I said, nobody don't want to lose. So don't just go lay down because the outside noise have you as the underdog. Nah, you got to go out there and play. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, anybody can be beaten on any given day. And it shows. It shows every single day.
Without a doubt, it's a mentality, like a winning mentality. In no moment you'll be okay with losing. You'll never allow that to creep into your mind. And that's what in 2014 you saw with those teams. Even when we got down, we never thought we were out of. We just had that mentality that, all right, we're going to find a way to come back and win this game. No matter what they saying, we don't care about that. We know what we got on this team. And if we can get guys to buy in right now every week, so we'll start seeing them take strides going forward, I feel like.
Exactly. And you can take that, the 2014 year, you can take us going down early. It's just as a prime example. People's not just going to lay down. You know what I'm saying? We was the top-ranked team, but every team we played, for some reason, they come out, throwing their bows. You know what I'm saying? But I just go to show you that, you feel me? When you go out there with the mindset that I'm going to win this game, then it can go the way you want it. You know what I'm saying? You got to have positive energy.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Richie, I know you had one, but we've talked about that, Travis. Florida State is the most storied program in this conference, a top 15, 20 program all time, right? People talk about is it blue blood or a new blood? Yeah, it's just right there on that verge. And so just like what you talked about, teams that had no business being on the field with us have always gotten up to play Florida State, right? Like teams will make it closer than they should be because we're their Super Bowl every year. And just because we're down right now, teams still see it as Florida State, right? Like they don't look and say oh, Florida State's bad right now, let's take it easy on them. They say, man, this is our chance. Like Duke's never beaten us. Duke is going to give us the fight of our life this year. You know what I'm saying? Because to them, it's not a bad Florida State team. It's still Florida State. That logo and that brand is still so massive. And so our guys, that's been the toughest thing, I think, for our guys is they don't see that. They haven't been part of Florida State's success. They haven't been part of a winning culture. They don't get that. They have to rise to the occasion every time they step on the field because every week our opponents are doing that. When Jacksonville State saw us on the schedule and saw that we were down, they thought, man, this is our chance to go out and make an absolute statement. And so that's kind of what our guys have to rise to that next level because every week for the rest of eternity, if you're playing Florida State, you're getting that other team's best shot, right? You might see teams kind of, you see every year a team gets upset. All right, Clemson will lose to NC State, or this team will, Alabama will lose to A&M, or just whatever. Nobody sleepwalks through Florida State, right? Like they get up for us every single week, and they will forever. And that's what makes it so tough about coming out of this, kind of where we're at. So that's just kind of my rant, or whatever. I kind of cut Richie off, but that was my thought on that.
Travis, man, or George, Travis, yeah, excuse me. Before we let you in, I have to ask this because you went viral before the Ole Miss game in Orlando in 2016. You did, as so many other Florida State players do. You were doing community service, visiting a local elementary school, and you see a kid sitting down, eating lunch by himself, and you just go over there and sit with him and eat with him and talk to him. And you had no idea, but there was a cop there that obviously knew the mother of the kid and took a picture, and you blew up. Man, what was that like? Because I think his name was Bo, but that I know for me as a Florida State fan, it made me proud because I grew up a Florida State fan since the early 90s. But when my wife saw that video, on game day, and when she saw it, she literally was drawn to tears. And she's like, he's my new favorite Florida State player. And all you were doing, you didn't know anybody was around. You just saw a kid eating alone and went to eat with him. Just talk us through that a little bit. I know you've probably done this interview 1,000 times, but it is such a cool story. I would love to hear your insight on it.
Well, I mean, we went and visited the school. Basically, everybody was at lunch, so they just told us just walk around, just introduce yourself to everybody, and then they had pizza for us. So I had grabbed a couple of slices of pizza, and I seen Bo sitting down there, but I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I just thought he was just sitting up there, and so I asked him, "Can I have a seat with you?" He's like, "Sure, why not?" And he engaged in the conversation with me, and man was chopping it up like we knew each other forever. And I'll say the next day in practice, like right after practice, Derek Coles, he had came up. It's like, man, you viral. I'm like, what you mean I'm viral? It's like, you didn't even know that you sat with the autistic kid. But I was like, what? And then he showed me the posts and everything. And then from there on, it was just everything bloomed. Like I was viral from it. I was like, wow, I was just really just sitting down having a conversation with him. I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll just say, from my standpoint, my best friend's wife works down in Jupiter for Elves for Autism. It's Ernie Els Foundation. Light It Blue, Light the Lighthouse Blue, all that stuff. And it's a great cause. And you didn't know you were contributing to that cause, but I think you contributed in a way that you may never know the impact that you actually did have. So just speaking with my friend's wife, who again does this every single day, 60 hours a week, that was the coolest thing. So I just want to, thank you as a Florida State fan and as a human being, because that really was one of the coolest things we've seen. So that represents, in my opinion, the Seminole way, as cheesy as that may sound.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And to this day, I still get DMs and everything about people just thanking me for what I did. But, and I appreciated all of it. But like I say, I mean, I feel like everyone's the same, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I, made the awareness even more with what I did, though.
Question. I always look at it, and I definitely like that moment. I definitely appreciate you standing out, and you weren't even, that's just you. Like you saw a kid sitting by herself and you just went over there. Like, I respect that. But this question has been looming in my mind ever since I seen the picture. You were finna take a big ass bite out of that pizza, man. What did that pizza? what the pizza taste like, man? Because I know that high school pizza it hit a little different, man.
It's crazy because like that's what I was really locked in on at first. You know what I'm saying? I was so hungry. For some reason, I was so hungry, and I was like, man, I want some pizza. So then I was like, all right, let me just hurry up and try to get a spot to sit down at. You know what I'm saying? But that pizza was delicious, man. Everything about that scenery was great. You know what I'm saying? I had a great conversation with my boy Bo, and the pizza was just wonderful. Probably the best pizza I had.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that since I saw the picture. I remember man.
That
I'm like,
picture.
Damn, that pizza had to be good, man.
With a big old bite in my mouth.
He couldn't wait like 2 seconds for you to not have that pizza.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That is classic. Well, I got one coming back on the field. I don't even remember how I lucked into this, but somebody gave me a sideline pass for the FSU Syracuse game in 2015. And talk about going off in the game. I mean, you just absolutely had a great game against Syracuse. I actually was standing next to Peter Warwick for this play. And I've talked about this before. I actually asked Peter Warwick about it on the Big Three roll-up. I'm going to ask you about it. I don't know if you remember or not, and I'll play the highlight on our Twitter and stuff. But Schmag threw a pass up, and you caught it, and you stiff-armed about 27 people, dove over guys, ended up falling into the end zone. It was like a 70-yard touchdown. Can you take us through that play? Because that's and we'll ask you you obviously were amazing that game, just under 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. But I mean, to me, that's my favorite play of your entire career. And then I'm standing next to Peter Warwick, and I looked at him and said, that kind of reminded me of a Peter Warwick type play. And he's like, man, that kid is the truth. So you got like an FSU legend on the sideline, like not me, him, saying like this kid is the absolute truth during that game. So I don't know if you ever knew that happened or not. Probably not, because it was. I mean, I haven't really talked about that to too many people outside of P-Dub. But what's your recollection of that, and what's that mean to you that Peter Warwick can say that about you?
Oh man, that means a lot. You know, Peter Warwick is an idol to me. I used to watch his highlights all the time. He's legendary, GOAT status. But taking through that play, I mean, going through that whole week of practice, like it's like Jimbo's like a genius at drawing up plays for us. So like, whatever we see on a scout team or in practice, that's what we get. You know what I'm saying? So the whole week we was like, okay, they play a lot of cover 4, post alert. So we've been working on this play the whole week, and I mean, it came down to the point where I caught the ball, and I'm like, man, I'm finna score a touchdown. Like, and my best friend's Dalvin Cook, so like we was like roommates and everything. So we always talk about, man, when we get the ball in our hand, we thinking about touchdown, just score a touchdown, like touchdown. So when I caught it, I was like, man, nothing's gonna stop me from scoring this touchdown. I done did too much so far. So that's what was going on in my head like the whole time. I'm like, man, I gotta score. And I just had that willpower. Like I said, it's the positive energy and positive thinking that just can take you to a lot of places that you wouldn't even expect you to be at. You know what I'm saying? So that's what went down.
How much
believe
adrenaline
that
kicked in when you stiff arm that guy? Like, just get off me
into
and just run it in.
out of Leon
I
County.
remember I was at a bar in downtown Orlando, and I remember just watching the game, and I'm like, my God, that guy just ruined that guy's week. Because film session, for whoever that was, when he has film session on Sunday, when they watch that, they're gonna be like, oh man, what happened to you there? But you sent him in, like TJ said, you sent him in the last week, man. What was your immediate thoughts before you crossed the goal line right after that stiff arm?
I was like, oh man, I just did him dirty. But I was like I said, man, I was like, man, you of all people is not gonna stop me from scoring this touchdown. I'm like 5 yards away, so I'm like, I gotta get in this end zone. So whatever I gotta do to get there, I'm gonna get there. But just I caught him with a great stiff arm. I got right up on his chin, and I threw him. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that went.
So Dalvin had, I don't know if you saw the touchdown today, but Dalvin had a stiff arm where he just kind of pushed the guy back today and then walked into the end zone on the left side.
Kind of just like mine.
Bro, that's what yours looked like. You kind of not only was it a stiff arm, like you lifted the guy up with the stiff arm. It wasn't just pushed back. Like this guy left his feet. So, I mean, yeah, I can't wait to pull that video back up and tweet on the timeline tomorrow, because that play was just. Woof.
I have to get my shot in here, but man, Burton Hargraves, he had to have PSTD on that, right? Like a Florida State player coming at me, just doing me dirty like that. Like this is Kelvin Benjamin all over again from that 2013 game where Dalvin just pushed him away. Like, nah, man, I'm scoring here.
At this point, he's got to be used to it. It just is what it is. So,
yeah, I mean, Hargraves, it's hard to tackle, Dalvin. And the one man is usually not going to tackle him. I'll say probably 95% of the time he's going to break the first tackle. Yeah. So, I mean, that was a tough job for him. Hargraves probably weighed maybe 195. Dalvin's a solid 210, 215. I mean, do the math.
Say, get off me. Travis, what obviously you went off in that game, had a good game against Notre Dame, opened up the game with a touchdown and stuff. Do you have a favorite memory, a favorite play, a favorite game, drive, series, whatever, of your time at Florida State? If it's anything we've already mentioned, pick another one. But do you have anything that kind of sticks out?
I'll say my favorite memory, definitely the Louisville game 2014 when they jumped out on us and everything. I'll never forget, and I'll always remember this. Jameis threw an interception, but he was going at me, but I didn't think he was going to throw it to me. You know what I'm saying? So he threw a corner route, and they picked it off. And man, Jimbo gave me the full clip on that by basically taking the play off and everything. And that's when they jumped out on us. And I went back and scored, and we came back and won that game. But that was an exciting game, though, because that was a big game because, their defense was really good that year. Louisville had a great defense that year. But that was one of my favorite memories.
You, I think if I'm not, I mean, you had the wide open touchdown that Jameis threw to you, if I remember correctly. But did you also pick up the fumble when Jameis threw the interception and then forced the fumble? Did you not pick that up?
I did.
So kind of a sneaky, underrated play.
Man, I always look back on that play and I was like, man, I had time to actually pick the ball up and go run for a touchdown. No one was around, but I kind of panicked on all right, just get the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too much going on. You know what I'm saying? But if I could take it back, I'll definitely pick that ball up and go run in the end zone.
That game had the craziest play. That's the game that Jameis threw between like 7 people and Armand catches it. Yeah. And like you go watch that replay 800 times and it's just like, I don't know how that got through there. Freddie scored on the little dump off pass to end up getting the cover as well, seal the deal on that. So I always appreciate Freddie for that one. Obviously the forced fumble by Jameis, the big comeback. That game
Nico Leary suplex.
Well.
Nico Leary suplexing the guy.
He got 15 yards for that. That's right. Yeah. Dalvin, I think Dalvin got his. Was that Dalvin's first touchdown? Dalvin had a touchdown in that game too. I don't know if it was his first or not. But that might have been Dalvin's first touchdown. Somebody will again fact check me on that. So
I don't think so. I believe NC State was his first.
That's right. Yeah. But he had one as well that game. So, man, good times, good memories. That's all I've got, man. If you guys have anything else, go ahead. But man, I appreciate you hanging out tonight, Travis, Freddie, Richie. You guys got anything?
No problem. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah. One last thing, and I have to ask because Travis, I live in Orlando, so that 2016 opener against Ole Miss at Camping World Stadium, I loved it. I got to wake up, drive 5 miles from my house to go to the game, and then in the first or second quarter, I look at my wife and I'm like, we shouldn't have come to this game. It's 28-6. Like, what is this team doing? And then you score a touchdown right before the half from DeAndre Francois, and that kind of changed the entire game from there. You know, we saw a lot of good things happen. The defense really came to life. We had DeMarcus Walker on here for our first episode ever, and he talked about that game as well. But that touchdown, did you feel the change, and what was it like in the locker room after that? Because that really saved the game at that point.
In the locker room, it was just, we knew like we was cool, calm, and collected because we knew like we had self-inflicted wounds that that had us down how we had. You know what I'm saying? We was like, they really can't stop us on offense, and I know our defense are gonna make some stops. So like, it's just like we one play away. Jimbo always tell us we one play away from changing the game around. And like Jimbo always told us, like, you never know what play determines the game. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, my touchdown, of course, that was like a booster to us on the comeback. But, this like that credit to the whole team. You know what I'm saying? We never thought we was out of the fight. And we was just taking it one play at a time. And we came up on top.
Freddie, was your touchdown right after Travis's touchdown?
Hey, I was just thinking about that while I was talking. You might be good luck for me because it sounds like when you score, I score. Right. Because he scored in the Florida game, and then I scored late.
Right.
Hey, you might be good luck for me. But yeah, I think I was right after him.
Yeah, that was a great game.
That was a great game.
As a fan, that was a great game. As a player, I can't even imagine. But man, I know me. I went with 10 different people to that game. we knew we were going to win going into the game. Then it was 28-6, but obviously, defense came alive. The offense came alive. Francois played the game of his life. Man, that as a fan, that was one of the most fun games I've ever attended. It was just a lot going on there.
Man, I kind of lied to you, Travis. I actually do have one or two more. I was just looking at some stats earlier today, and actually like 20 minutes ago, let's be honest, because we kind of got you late. But remember the Wake Forest game your last year? You went for just under 250 yards, but never got the ball in the end zone. Like a million catches, 238 yards, and never got it in. What is a game like that like, where you are just absolutely dominating, but you're like, man, can I get the ball in the freaking end zone? Like, what's going on here?
At that point, I didn't really care for the touchdowns. At that point, I was like, you know what? I'm doing a great job, moving the sticks and everything. I want us to get the W. That's really the most important thing in my head first. Like, touchdowns, they gonna come when they come. You know what I'm saying? But main thing I was thinking is like, all right, as long as we win, I'm good, because we all gonna be happy at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the stats really. But yeah, that was an amazing game, and I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I remember I was close to getting in the end zone with the Hail Mary that we had, but I was like 3 yards short. It is what it is.
Got all about that game. He went off.
Yeah. He went off, and we only scored 17 that game. When the offense just didn't have it that game. I mean, we were moving it. We just couldn't. We're struggling to finish, I guess, drives. So, because obviously Travis had more yards than we've had in a couple of recent FSU games by himself. So, one more. All right. So the last one I got, Double Fries No Slaw is the name of the show. And you got no coleslaw, correct?
Nah, I don't like coleslaw, so.
All right, so double fries every time. Big bites of pizza and double fries.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the way to go.
All right, good stuff. Richie, Freddie, you guys got anything?
I'm good. I appreciate Travis, man. And again, you're a great representation of Florida State as a Seminole, as cheesy as it sounds, but just go out, be a good person, be good to kind to other people, and you truly live that. So I appreciate that, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. I enjoyed being on this show.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know as a brother, man, you're a great representative for this team. Like Richie was saying, it was great to play with you. I'm glad more fans actually get to hear from you today. Like some fans that didn't know about the story. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep making a difference in the world. Much respect.
Same to you, Freddie.
Awesome. Appreciate you, bro.
All
right. Take care.
See you guys later.
Thanks, Travis.
See you, bro. Travis Rudolph. Yeah, I remember loving him. I mean, I told everybody like he's the next, especially because of those games.
If he got to play with Jameis for 3 years, I think he's thought of a lot differently with Florida State fans. And that's not taking anything away from Sean McGuire. I thought he did as well as he could, or Everett Golson, when he came here. But man, if that receiver got to play with Jameis for 3 years, he might have been like a top 3-4 round draft pick.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it went off, like I said, with Smag as a quarterback, went off for 191 against Syracuse, went off for 238 against Wake Forest, went off for 200 against Houston with who was that? Smag and Constantino. Did Constantino play in that game?
He played like one drive, and then Smag's foot miraculously healed because they realized they couldn't do this.
There were some games where Travis
Freddie's laughing because he played in that game, but he can't talk.
Some games where Travis went off. I mean, he scored in the Rose Bowl. I mean, he had just under 100 yards and scored a touchdown in the Rose Bowl as well. So I want to say that touchdown in the Rose Bowl was like either to start the second half or something, or to cut the score. I don't know. Let's not reminisce on that one too much, but. But good stuff. Appreciate Travis Rudolph. Where we go from here? What do we have next up on the docket? We don't have to spend too much time on here because we got some stuff lined up for Thursday to talk more about Notre Dame. But let's talk some thoughts on. We did our instant reaction show yesterday. Some thoughts now that it's been about 24 hours since Florida State got their first win of the year. What are your thoughts on this team going forward? Richie, go, and then Freddie, and then we'll come back around.
Yeah, man. So there's obviously some things to clean up, right? And we understand that. But Florida State fans, just take this weekend and enjoy the win, because we had a comfortable win. I know it was an ugly start, 14-0, then 21-7. But when Florida State took the lead, there's no doubt in any of our minds that we were going to win this game. So let's just enjoy this weekend and this win. We saw a lot of promise. That offensive line held up pretty well. Lawrence Toafeli, had a lot of, I think it was 11 carries for 99 yards. Like that was a really good performance for him. And then the obvious one, Jordan Travis, man, that's something to get excited about. Obviously we need him to stay healthy, but it shows, and this is no shot on James Blackman or Tate Rodmaker, but did any of us think that Florida State would have 5 straight touchdown drives in any game this season? And have 6 touchdown drives of 65 or more yards in a game in this season? Yeah, it's Jacksonville State. I get it. But, man, for me, it was exciting. I know this weekend's going to be tough against Notre Dame. We're probably going to lose that game. We're definitely going to lose that game. But it shows what we're potentially capable of moving forward. So I came away from this weekend very encouraged. What about you, Freddie?
Yeah, I was definitely encouraged seeing – what Jordan Travis brought to the offense. Of course, going through the season, now that he has more film out on him, teams are going to be more prepared for him versus when he just came in every now and then running a few read option plays. And so we're just going to have to continue to progress each week and get better. But I think you see how things will look when everything's firing on all cylinders. Even if teams prepare and make it difficult for him, the ability that he has with his legs to extend plays, it makes it tough on the defense. So as we continue to get better as a team, as a unit on the offensive side of the ball, I think he just gives us a chance to win some games that normally we wouldn't have an opportunity to win. And I'm excited to see where we go because I think he completely energized that team for the rest of the game. If he doesn't come in, we don't get that win.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You could see, and this is a debate for another day, but I'm not sold 100% on just like the idea of like straight momentum. And again, that's kind of a debate for a different day. But you can certainly see the team's confidence level, right? Like Terry looks more confident out there, knowing he had a guy that could get him the ball. I liked the way that Norvell called the game. I liked the swing passes and the screen passes. A lot of running. His long pass down to Terry, I think it went for 46, 48 yards, was all set up off of a play fake. And so I think that Norvell did a good job calling that game for Jordan Travis once Travis came in. And yeah, it would have to be kind of a fluke thing if Florida State was to find a way to win this weekend. I don't expect that. But if we can build and do a couple of things well this weekend, then we'll see what we look like the next weekend against North Carolina, right? And that's really what's important at this point is, hey, probably not going to win this weekend. I mean, just being a realist. But if you can find a couple more things to build on, do some things well, steal a couple of wins that you're not supposed to down the stretch.
Freddie, I have a question for you. Because when Jordan Travis entered the game, it seemed like the defense got a spark as well. So did you notice that when you played at Florida State that maybe when the offense was struggling and the defense was just doing, 3 and out after 3 and out, or they're just playing an outstanding game where that energizes the other side of the ball? Because I feel like that's what we saw. Like Jordan Travis came in, the offense got rolling, and the defense kind of stepped up a bit.
Yeah, we had some stints where guys on the defensive side of the ball would be cussing us out, saying that we were no help at all. Like when it starts happening, guys can't hold it. Like no filter on that sideline. So yeah, once guys feel like they're not getting any help from the offensive side of the ball, and you already have issues with effort, it makes things even worse. Guys completely are giving up out there. But once he came in, guys started. It's crazy to say. Like guys just started buying everything these coaches have tried to preach to the players, I'm sure from day one. It's like it all clicked once Jordan Travis came in. It shows you what a great leader at quarterback can do for your team.
So Florida State, I mentioned this yesterday on the Instant Reaction show. Florida State was a favorite to beat 2 teams on the schedule, and then one game was kind of a coin flip. ESPN updated their FPI, and Florida State is now an underdog in every single game the rest of the way. I don't know that that's too terribly surprising. The games that Florida State was a favorite in, the Virginia game is now flipped to, instead of 51-49 Florida State, it's now 58-41 Virginia. Probably has to do with Virginia looking, I guess, halfway decent against Clemson. And then they've actually flipped us and Duke. Duke is now a 51% chance to win, and we're 49. Duke at 0-4 on the year. But they look decent against Virginia Tech, I guess is kind of the thinking there. So it probably has less to do with us and more to do with these other teams. The NC State FSU game was kind of a coin flip, and now they've got NC State at 63.5%. Chance to win. Again, that's probably because they beat a ranked Pittsburgh team. We actually got a little bit closer to Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh lost that game. So there are going to be ebbs and flows. But now at this point, ESPN's FPI says we will not win another game. That'll change. If we go into that Duke game and they haven't won a game yet, I mean, I'm not cheering for this, but injuries happen both ways. I do think that'll change. We actually got a little bit closer on the North Carolina game, not much. I'm talking like 2% because they struggled against BC. But man, it's still going to be a tough road. Every game that we have for the rest of the way is going to be tough. There will be no easy wins. A lot of games are going to be dogfights, but I like the fight that we saw yesterday, whether it was Jacksonville State or not. You can quit against a bad team, and we didn't quit against a bad team like we did for the first game of the year. I'm not excusing it, but you kind of understand a team quitting when you get punched in the mouth against Miami. Not understand, that's a bad way to put it. That's not a great way to say it, but a team that's just that much better than you kind of get it. I'm glad that we didn't quit against Jacksonville State, because that would have been a much more embarrassing loss than the Miami one. And so you see a team that can fight now, and hopefully when they get punched in the mouth, which will probably happen every single game for the rest of the year, they showed enough fight to not just lay down on the floor and quit. So that's what I'm most encouraged about. At the end of the day, if they don't win another game, but they at least put the effort forth, I'm excited. I'm also excited about these running backs. Again, I know it was Jacksonville State. I know it's easy to open up holes against an FCS level opponent, but I think Toa Philly might be a real one, man. And Webb looked good too. So thoughts there?
Yeah, I didn't really think we should be favored in any games. Anyways, I think we're just gonna have to go out each week. It doesn't bother me. I think we're just gonna have to go out each week and prove it. That's just the reality of the situation. I think we do win some games that they don't expect us to win. If we continue to progress each week, and then Jordan Travis does what he does with this offense and the new dimension he provides, we're gonna have an opportunity to upset a team that they have us as a major dog in. And I'm looking at that UNC game if we continue to progress. And some of these other games like Duke and Virginia, those will be games where we'll have chances to win. So I'm not really paying much attention to that, but we will have to continue to prove ourselves each week. The reality is they're still looking at us as this team that gets punched in the mouth and quits. We played Jacksonville State. We showed some things to be excited about in the second half, but they're trying to see if we maintain that going further. So this week will show a lot, and things may change based on how we show up against Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think that's kind of spot on. You know, in the ESPN FPI, it's a decent indicator, but it also gave us like a 60% chance of beating Miami like 2 weeks before that game was played. So I'm not taking it into consideration. If you were to give me odds that Florida State doesn't win another game the rest of the season, I would bet a lot of money that Florida State wins another one, and probably 2 or 3 more. You know, it's a rebuilding process. So there's going to be times where Jordan Travis is going to come out and look really bad at times. And we can't all just jump on the, all right, play the next guy bandwagon at that point. You know, it's going to happen. We need to work through it. And as a fan base and as a team, I think this, you know, it's a rebuild. That's exactly what it is. And we need to get better. And, you know, I think we're 21-point underdogs against Notre Dame with the over-under at 54. So they're thinking 38-17 in that range. Why not go win a game you can't win? I'm not going to pick us to win it. I'm not going to. I don't think any of us are.
You're about 2 days from doing that, Rich. I can already tell.
No, I'm not, and I'm not. But that doesn't mean you can't go out and win a game you're not supposed to. You know what I mean? Why not? Because who wants to beat Oklahoma? Iowa State, they lost to Central Arkansas in week 1 and then won in Norman at Oklahoma week 2. This happens in college football. It doesn't seem to happen a lot for Florida State, but it could. So why not go make it happen? And I'm excited to see the game. I'm expecting a loss going into it, but I'm still excited for the week, excited to see progress. And hopefully, even in a loss, we can take a step forward from where we were this week.
That's what I want to see. And we talked about that early in the year. I want to see the team be, and it's hard to judge when you're playing such a better opponent than you did the week before, right? It's hard to see improvement. And this isn't the transitive property, but Notre Dame would beat Jacksonville State by 50, 40,
for sure.
So it's hard. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be tough watching it live because you're emotional and you're watching the game. But on the rewatch, I want to see some improvements on some things for Florida State, right? Like, will the running backs break as many tackles? Will the offensive line be able to just manhandle and push Notre Dame's guys out of the way? Will the wide receivers be able to get the separation that they did against Jacksonville? Probably not. Is the effort there, though? Is the defense playing better? Are we finishing out things? Are we finishing out blocks? Are we, is there ball security? Are we not throwing pick sixes? Shout out Tom Brady and Tate Rodemaker today.
5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns,
so
Tom Brady. Put some respect on the name.
if we can get 5 touchdowns out of Jordan Travis, I'll feel really good as well. But that's what I want to see. And that's the thing, right? Do something. Oh gosh, sorry for using that. Do anything this weekend that you can carry over into the next
Find
game.
a way to get the win.
Right. Well, I don't even care if we don't get the win. I mean, I want to win. I want to beat Notre Dame. I want to get the upset.
Of course.
But I will take doing things the right way and finding something to carry over into that North Carolina game that you can use to then upset them, right? A much smaller upset, but that's what I want to see out of Florida State this weekend.
And this is such a loser blood mentality, but honestly, let me turn on the game, watch it, get through halftime, and go into the fourth quarter thinking we have a chance to win, even if we're down by 10 or something. It'd be nice to be competitive in the second half against a top 5 team. And I know we're not there, and it's unlikely, but at the same time, but if you can, that's something you can build on as a player, as a fan, whatever. Obviously the fans don't matter, but as a player, if you're competitive in the second half against Notre Dame this year, even if you lose the game, and again, loser blood mentality, that's where we're at right now after these past few years, you can go to next week and say, hey, we had a chance. We had Notre Dame on the ropes last week. Why can't we just go and beat these guys by 10, 14 points?
Yeah, without a doubt, the players' mentality is should be to block out the outside noise, and they should believe no matter what they've been through that they can go in and find a rhythm and get them an upset. Why, like Russell Westbrook says, why not? Why can't it be us? On the outside looking in, of course, we know as fans that we're in a rebuild, so I don't expect us to go in and get this win. I'm not expecting it, but hey, they could prove us wrong. Like, we see upsets every week, and as a player, you shouldn't care what they're saying on the outside. Y'all's mentality is let's go in here and get us a win. So we should see the winning effort this whole entire game as fans.
So this is not the official pick. Richie probably won't put those out until Thursday morning anyway. But right now, did Florida State show you enough to think that they have a chance of covering in this game or not? This, again, is not your official pick, but what are your thoughts?
So my
20
early
and a half.
20 and a half. So my early thoughts is Notre Dame would cover that. But I do think that line's going to move a little bit throughout the week to a higher number. If not, I'd be really surprised. But if I had to bet money today, I would take Notre Dame. I don't think that, 21 points is a blowout, let's be honest, but I don't think they're going to beat us by 40. But if that line moved to 24 and a half, 25, I would have to think about it. What are you, Freddie?
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll beat us by maybe 20, 21. But I don't know. The biggest thing, like you said, is seeing that improvement, really. Notre Dame, they're a solid team. The first week, they kind of had everybody wondering, and then that next week, they showed us that, all right, Notre Dame may be the real deal. We know we still got a whole bunch of holes in this team, and I think it's just too tough right now to pick us over Notre Dame right now. We still have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, it kind of stinks that their game against Wake Forest was postponed because, like Freddie said, they struggled a little bit with Duke. I don't know if that game was ever really in question, but they just didn't beat Duke like they really should have. Yeah. And then they absolutely mollywopped USF. I took USF to cover the points there because of how they played against Duke, and they beat the hell out of USF that weekend. And so it would have been kind of nice to see what they looked like against Wake Forest. But Notre Dame hasn't played in 3.5 weeks.
Well, I think that's
kind
a
of
big
an
thing
advantage
because,
for us, you know.
Yeah, and you have the issue where they had those 18 positive tests to where now, like, their whole season's like been rattled, right? And Florida State's kind of, obviously, I know we didn't have Mike Norvell at Miami, but he's back this week and we're back to a normal schedule. Notre Dame's getting back to a normal schedule. So I think that might play a role in why that line seems a little low, in my opinion. Yeah. But at the same time, man, again, go out there, score a touchdown on the opening drive, put some pressure on Notre Dame to where their players have to think and get worried, like, oh, we're supposed to beat this team by a lot, but it's 13-17 in the third quarter. Do something like that. That's what I want to see. I'm not expecting it, but man, that would be awesome if that's the position we find ourselves in.
I need the defense to step up and make some plays, right? Their offense has been off the field for 3 weeks. I need the defense to man up and get me a sack the first drive, right? I need Kando and Wilson. And if Cooper gets in there, which they looked good on the field together, somebody commented that in the chat. Yeah, when Cooper and Wilson were on the field together, they did look better. Obviously, Notre Dame's line is going to be better than almost said South Carolina's, Jacksonville State's. But go be disruptive, force a 3-and-out, or get off the field the first drive without giving up points, and then let's go. Let's see what happens from there. I expect Notre Dame, we could force a 3-and-out the first 3 drives, and I expect Notre Dame, all things will even out, and they'll probably get things rolling. But it's going to frustrate the fire out of me when we force them into a 3rd and 8 on the first drive and they pick up 12 yards on that 3rd play of the game. That is just that cannot happen anymore. Miami converted way too many 3rd downs to start the game when we did look good, and we do look good for the first couple of drives of the game on offense. Our scripted plays are hitting. Jordan Travis does provide a different kind of spark, but the defense has to step up and do some things well. Because the problem is, if they come out and score on their first 3 drives, realistically, what are we scoring on? Maybe one of our first couple of drives. We go down 2-3 touchdowns. I'm worried about our team quitting again like they did against Miami. I don't think Notre Dame's 42 points better than us, but I think if we quit again, they'll beat us by just as much as Miami did, if not more. So that's kind of the concern: is stay in it, don't quit. Make a play and get off the field. Man, our defense does not get off the field as well as they should. So that's kind of where they need to kind of have it this weekend. Any thoughts on that? Thoughts on the defense? Thoughts on anything you saw from this weekend?
Yeah, I would love to see us confuse that quarterback they got over there at Notre Dame right now. He struggles a lot when in putting pressure situations. I think that would be great for this defense to put a little pressure on him and put him in a situation where he has to be that guy with his arm to beat our defense. I think he kind of struggles with that when he has to be that guy, and creating a little confusion, providing a complex looks for him to try to figure out what's going on. Not making it too easy on him as a defense. Putting our guys in great situations to be successful, and players, when you put in those situations, making plays. And if you create confusion for this guy, you give yourself a chance to win the ball game, because he's shown over time that when pressure is put on him, he cannot perform at a high level. So that's really what we have to do going into this game, because if we just let him sit back there and pick apart his own, we have no chance.
Yeah, I think our defense is a product of the program right now, right? The seniors on this team, they had Charles Kelly their freshman year. Then they had Harlan Barnett. Then they had Harlan Barnett / Jim Leavitt, and now they have Adam Fuller. So they've been taught so many different things, so many different schemes. But at the same time, if they can let their instincts take over, we know they can play, right? That it's not like nobody in the country wanted these guys on our defense. Most of these guys had offers from schools that are much better thought about right now than we are. These guys can play. Everybody wanted them. So I just want to see the defense improve, man. And I think they're capable. They have the talent. It's just I think it's more mental with them than anything. And I think that's the biggest part of it, because it's a really good unit if you look on paper at every individual. Now we got to get them to play as 11 individuals as one unit and, live up to their potential at this point. Go play fast. Don't hesitate in the, I do think there's a chance to salvage this defense, but they have been really disappointing. Even in the game yesterday, there's a lot of positives, but the defense still disappointing.
I may have a guest on for Thursday night. I don't want to speak who it is just yet. Very well respected in the Notre Dame market. So we could talk a little more about Notre Dame this weekend. If you can, go back and listen to our Instant Reaction podcast. It is 16 minutes long. Really quick listen, kind of gets the raw emotion, the raw thoughts that we all had after the game. Those are a lot of fun. We did it live in our Discord server, and I think I'm going to start letting folks that are Patreons come on the show and ask a question here or there. Kind of an interesting thing to navigate, but we'll see kind of what time the game gets over this week and how depressed we are if we do one like after the game at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. But if it's going to be 15 minutes again, though, I'm in, because like we can get that done and out of the way, and I don't have to worry about it on Sunday when I'm trying to watch the NFL. So we'll see if we're depressed or not. But we lose by like 7-10, man, I'm going to be jacked. I got some lines to get off. So like, we're definitely jumping on. Yeah. We lose by 42 again, man. We're probably canceling y'all.
I'll probably wake up. I'm going to wake up on Sunday not remembering we did that show the night before.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to be jacked about that one. But go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/doublefriespod. We are up to 22 Patreon supporters. We said we want to get to 20 by the Miami game. We did that. We went a little over it. I think 30 is another really, really good goal to have before we get to the North Carolina game. So we need 8 more by then. Patreon.com/doublefriespod. You are a part of the game day chat, which we were hanging out heavy in there. And then you get to listen to the reaction show live and participate in it, which – like I said, we're going to upset somebody this year that we're not expecting. Again, it's probably not Notre Dame or Clemson, but you're going to want to be part of that show then. Patreon.com/doublefriespod. Guys, North Carolina, before we go, excellent state of our slate of college football games this weekend. I know that Florida State and Notre Dame is not the game that we would want it to be, but just from a historical standpoint, absolutely phenomenal game there. Florida, Texas A&M, Jimbo was 6-1 against the Gators in his time in Tallahassee, and is taking them on at Kyle Field, 5.5 point spread on that game. North Carolina, number 8 in the country. I think that is a terrible ranking. I don't think they're that good, but hopefully Virginia Tech can upset them. Red River Rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Georgia as well. And then Miami, Clemson. I think Clemson beats the absolute dog crap out of Miami. So I'm excited for that one. But some really good college football on this weekend. I'm glad that college football is back in kind of full swing. Didn't mention any Big Ten or Pac-12 games because nobody really cares about either one of those conferences. But I'm excited for college football this weekend. I'm not that excited for our game.
Yeah, that Tennessee-Georgia game is going to be better than a lot of people think. Tennessee, they kind of look good on Saturday. I'm not even going to lie.
Man, Tennessee, this schedule for Florida really sets up well. LSU's down. A&M, I don't think is very good. Georgia's always good, right? Like, so their game against Georgia is always massive. But it's weird that they have to play Tennessee so late in the year. And if Tennessee is rolling and gelling at that time, that could be strange for Florida, because usually they get them early before they start to peak. They get them before they're any good. I don't know. I'm just hoping
the way they looked on Saturday, I would rather them play them right now, because I think by the time they play them, Tennessee may be a little banged up.
Yeah.
Pruitt, man, that guy, he might be the real deal. He's recruiting at a high level. He's got them looking at. They won their final 5 games last year. We talked about that on Thursday night show. Man, Jeremy Pruitt, nobody want to give him a chance because you hear a lot about him, outside of the field, but clearly that guy can coach football.
Jeremy just stat checked me. Jimbo went 7-1 against UF while he was here. I don't count that last one because you guys all say he was checked out, so I don't count that last win. But yeah, 7-1. So hopefully he moves that to 8-1. I mean, y'all can all hate Jimbo as much as you want. Not you guys, but just everybody listening. But I hope he beats the hell out of Florida this week. I'm gonna dress.
I'll be rooting for Jimbo. I'll be rooting for my kids
this weekend. I'm gonna dress my kids in A&M stuff for the noon game. That Meemaw sent me a bunch of stuff, so I'm not even kidding. So go Aggies this weekend. All right, that's all I got. If you guys are watching this, rate it on YouTube, follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Double Fries Pod. We'd appreciate it. Other than that, I don't have anything. My Lakers are about to take a 3-0 series lead tonight. So one of you guys can – wait. Richie picked the music last night. So it's Friday tonight, and then I got Thursday night so I can play We Are the Champions after I got it all lined up. I lined these songs up perfect. So, Freddie, what you got?
I was listening to that new 21 Savage album, so I'm gonna go with this. The song off his album is called "Running."
Running by 21 Savage.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
All right, let's get it, man. Appreciate you guys for hanging out tonight. Great interview with Travis Rudolph. And I like these victory Sundays a little better than
yes,
loser Sundays. So
need more.
Let's do this again. Let's do this again sometime.
Man, if we get to do this again next week, woof, that'd be something.
Bro, the lies I'll be telling, we'll be beating Clemson.
Man, if Travis had started against Miami, we beat them by 40 points.
I don't know about that one. So
I'm gonna say it though. I'm gonna say it.
Hey, I will say that I got a lot of faith in Norvell and the staff, but if he starts game one, we're 2-1. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.